everybody, I am Fran Gulick of Cotton and Joy, and today I'm here with a really fun project. It is this reed pillow, and it's a free pattern on my website, and it goes perfectly along with my new line Between the Pages, which is a book inspired line. And this pillow would just be so fun to have right next to your bookcase or your favorite chair where you like to cozy up with a book. So I'm going to be showing you today how to piece the letters. I know they look a little tricky, but once you get the first one done, it goes together really fast. And this is just a fun project to do. So here I have my fabric for the very first letter, which is the R on the pillow. So we're going to be doing the R here, and I know the fabric is different, but it's the same piecing method. And so we have here the tall part, the middle, and then the very end of the R. And I'm going to be showing you how to piece all of this together so you get a letter. I know it looks like a lot of pieces and like it's going to be really complicated, but I promise it all comes together nice and easy to have your completed R. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our little squares and we're going to be doing a line on the back, which is going to be our stitch line. So we're going to be doing that on the two white squares and one of the solid squares. And I'm just going to take them right over here, and I am just going to do a line from corner to corner on the wrong side of the fabric. And on the solid, it doesn't really matter because it's both sides, but just remember if you're using a print to make these lines on the wrong side of your fabric. So now I'm going to put it back here so I remember where they go. And the main thing to remember here is your angles, and this is going to show on the pattern, but I can show you on this one right here. Oh, and I'm missing one more white. Hold on. Here we go. So I'll need to mark this one as well. So you just want to pay attention to the angles of how you're placing them on your letters. So here you see how this line goes here. You want to make sure that when you place your square on your big piece, the angle is the same. So then this one, you don't want to do it this way. You want to make sure it goes that way so it matches up with the angle on the letter. And again, it's on the pattern, but I just want to make sure to point that out, because that's the easiest mistake you can make. It's flip one of these around and then you have the wrong angle on it. So we're going to pin these in here so they don't move around on us. And I like to chain piece, so I'm going to be doing all of these back to back. But if it's your first time and you're a little nervous about it, you can just do it one at a time. But for time's sake, I'll be chain piecing these. So then you're going to take these to your machine and you're going to be sewing right on the line, not off, just right on the line. Then we're going to take this one. And now I am going to trim my threads. And just to be sure, before we cut anything, I'm going to lay it back down to make sure I have all of the angles right. Again, I'm comparing to here. So yep, we do. And then once you've sewn, what you want to do is take your ruler and you're going to be trimming off the extra here. You want to leave a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And that's just extra. And we're going to do that with all of them. And then you can press them. I like to press these open, especially for the arc, because you have a lot of seams that meet, especially right here in the middle. And if you're pressing to the side, then it can get really bulky. So I try to press open. Just gonna go ahead and press these real quick. And then we're gonna put it back on our board to make sure we're keeping track of all of our pieces. So here you can kind of see the shape of the R starting to come together a little bit. So then the next part is just really easy, just some straight line sewing. So we're gonna sew this to this, and then we're gonna sew these together, these two together, and then that whole thing together. So put these right sides together, and the main thing here is you want to make sure that it's nice and straight and your points here are meeting nicely. And then I'm going to sew this to this one right here. And again, I'm going to trim my threads here. I have a long thread here. And I am going to press this open again. Oops. And here you can see we have that first part of the art together. And then I'm going to press these two pieces together. Open, I mean, and then this last one. And then this is what goes right here. And again, I just need to sew this to this really quick and press it. I'm going to trim my threads and press. So there we have the middle of the R, and now the only thing that's left is just sewing these three together. And I like starting sewing in this to this, because this has a nice straight angle, so I can make sure that I'm keeping my pieces straight. So I just make sure to line up there at the top, and then just making sure that everything's meeting nice and even on the side. Oops. And I'm going to trim my threads. And then pressing this can be a little tricky just because you have all these seams. So first I like to set this seam, and then very carefully I first press it open with my fingers. I find that helps. And then I bring in my iron to press it open. And so now the only thing that's left is sewing this last part to here. And again, I just line it up at the top, making sure it's nice and straight, and then sew this together. And on this part, you do want to make sure that this seam, it's meeting up with that right there. Then before we press this all together, I just want to make sure we are trimming all these crazy threads we have going on here. And again, for this one, I'll go ahead and set the seam first and then finger press it open. And here you can see how this seam right here gets a little bulky, which is why I like to do it open. Maybe, here we go. If I had been pressing to the side, that would be really bulky there, which is why we do it open. Then it's nice and slow. Just press everything open. And then I like to give it a good spritz so that it lays nice and flat. And there we have our R. As you can see, it looked like a lot of pieces, but it comes together nice and quickly, and it's really not as tricky as it seems. And the rest of the letters, once you get the R down, the rest of the letters are super easy. The E doesn't have any crazy angles. The A just has these two right here, and then the D has these two right here. And like I said, as long as you're laying them out and making sure that your angles are going the right way before you piece them, they come together very quickly. And then once you've pieced your letters, it's just some very easy sewing. You're gonna take these smaller pieces, which is sashing between the letters. And then there's two more pieces that go kind of on either side here. And then this one here, and then you add the border. And the great thing about the pattern is that if you want a smaller pillow at 20 by 20, you can just do this. If you want the larger pillow, this is 24 by 24, then you would add the borders, which I have here. And they would just go on either side and then top and bottom. And that's really all you have to do for a nice cozy reed pillow. As I said, this fun pattern, it's on my website, cottonandjoy.com. It's under free patterns, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today.